We are all alone. No, we are born alone. We die alone. We shall all someday look back on our lives and see that in spite of our company, all the people we have around us, we were alone the whole way. And I do not say lonely, at least not all the time, but essentially and finally alone. I think sometimes when we do things that we don't believe, I think it sends a message to our core. When we do things that goes against the things that we say, or who we believe that we are and our beliefs. So when we go against these things continuously, and I think it kind of creates a split in our personality and even the way that we view ourselves. And you see, and with this personally, I believe with this comes certain struggles that we deal with in life. And I'm not trying to get into the spiritual aspect, but I believe there is a spiritual aspect to these things. Like when we operate contrary to our core, contrary or continuously against our belief, this can bring us to a place where even your own spirit does not trust you. We are all alone. No, we are born alone. We die alone. We shall all someday look back on our lives and see that in spite of our company, all the people we have around us, we were alone the whole way. And I do not say lonely, at least not all the time, but essentially and finally alone. And this is what makes self-respect so important. And I don't see how you can respect yourself if you must look in the heart and mind of others to find your happiness. And I think it's interesting. When people try to equate your self-respect or self-appreciation, to arrogance. If I say that the job that I have done is the best, see, that is my opinion. And sometimes, that might be me trying to be the light instead of finding the light. Because sometimes, you have to convince your mind or treat yourself good, speak good about yourself. That your heart will be convinced that, you deserve good. That's why when I see people and, I see them putting their stuff out, or I see them, saying things about their stuff and hyping their stuff out, I always try to encourage those people, in a sense, because I understand, our journey is different, and, people deal with different things, and some people don't even have confidence, So many people deal with, even a sense of imposter syndrome. They start doing certain things in their life and they don't think that they are good enough. Especially when you're starting. See, and I think that's one thing that is important about life, because we all have to be a student of life. The one who think the journey is over is the one who is truly lost. And when someone believes that their journey is complete, they stop growing and they stop advancing, and they are unwilling to, adapt to new situations or perspective. So I think with self-respect comes some self-appreciation, and I think that's one thing that we deal with as well in life. We tend not to speak positive of ourselves. We tend not to compliment ourselves or build ourselves, at least not in public. When we come to a place where we genuinely feel pleased with what we're doing, we tend not to voice those things out because we don't want to come off as, self-centered people. But, why can't you do for yourself what you expect the world to do for you? See, and it's not so much as screaming all the time or telling people who, have no business in the thing. But it's more of, being comfortable, being comfortable to, acknowledge your own growth and, acknowledge your own progress. Now I remember hearing this quote somewhere that hell is other people. And in a sense, for me, the way that I interpret that is, there are certain things that, we go through in life or feel in life. And it's really just a result of us being so aware and conscious of other people. And we know sometimes this awareness that we have of other people and the consciousness, that we have of other people, it's greater than our own self-awareness. But I want you to be happy. for yourself. I want you to be happy with the progress that you're making. It's one thing to be humble, but it's another thing to lower your own self-image by your own efforts, to be humble and not talk about these things in your own life that you're excited about, you love talking about. And I think in some sense, we should always be humble in that way. And I think if you're watching this, you have the awareness to understand the difference, between being humble and having that humility, and that difference of always, speaking these things that comes from a place of, that can come from a place of pride and, wanting to say how much our life is better than others. But I think, we all need awareness as well. But in a sense, what I'm really talking about is, when you make this effort to lower your own self-image. So when you make this effort to dim your light, and you dim your light to conform to the people around you, so as not to make them uncomfortable. Why expect from the world, something that can come from you? Why should you only be happy? Why should you only accept it when it comes from the world? When it comes from the people outside of you? When you can do it for yourself? When you can say those things to yourself? And it's important the way that people treat us. And I think sometimes we don't really, realize the effect that I have. We don't really realize the importance of the way that we allow ourselves to be treated by people. What I mean is, if you treat an individual as he is, he remains as he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be or could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be. That's one thing that I also look as well in my life. The way that I deal with the people around me, and I love the people around me. I realize the grace that I need in my life, and I realize the grace that other people need as well. I think this is where, I'm also allowing myself to change, and I'm letting go of myself so that I can change. The more that I let go of these things that sometimes I hold on to, things that at the end of the day, they're just loads. They are loads. They are the things that keep you really from focusing on the things that are truly important for you to grow, for you to really excel in things in your life. And one key aspect to self-respect is valuing the inner over the external. And this means you're attaching worth to one's rational faculty over the external. I think sometimes when we do things that we don't believe, I think it sends a message to our core. When we do things that goes against, the things that we say, or, who we believe that we are, or even our core and our beliefs. So when we go against these things, continuously, and I think it kind of creates a split in our personality and even the way that we view ourselves. And you see, and with this personally, I believe with this comes certain struggles that we deal with in life. And I'm not trying to get into the spiritual aspect, but I believe there is a spiritual aspect to these things. Like when we operate contrary to our core, contrary or continuously against our belief, this can bring us to a place where even your own spirit does not trust you. But I think it's important, and helpful for us to change our perspective with the way we look at these things, with the way we look at ourselves when we come to a place where we don't live up to the promises that, we make to ourselves, or we don't live up to the belief that we carry. I think the way that I look at this is falling gives us the opportunity to rise again. And also I want you to realize, I don't think there is 100%, at least not in the way that we think 100% should be. Sometimes we think that 100% is just this straight line. But I think sometimes 100% can also be, forward and over, okay? Forward and under, forward and around. I think it's important that we understand that, the most important thing is that, we are making a strive towards a destiny. We are making a strive, forward. It's all about making the best move. Yes, you might have made a mistake. Yes, you might have done that thing that you said you would never do again. Yes, you might have done that stuff that you promised yourself never to do again. But see, you can still make the best move from now on, for the rest of the day. Instead of, oh, well, I've already eaten this, so I might as well just indulge for the rest of the day and tomorrow I will pick up. Because this is what keeps us from actually getting to our goal. It's the mentality of, okay, I failed today, so today is a waste. So no need to keep working towards that goal today, you see. So we fail with the hope of starting again tomorrow. And we don't realize what this stuff, does to us. I know personally sometimes I think this kind of creates a certain level of split personality where, your internal self does not trust you. And that's why I appreciate these videos. And because with these videos, in my daily life, the way that I think and my relationship with myself has changed. That's because I can't live a life separate from this video, and this video has to come from my own daily life. And so, even in my own life, I'm always constantly trying to be present with myself and aware of my thought and what's going on around me, and try to be more purposeful with things. And, there's this quote I saw, and it says, a person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thought. And, the person can lose touch with reality and live in a world of their own created illusion. And you see, and I understand this, because I know there are some things that I want to put out. There are some content ideas that I have. I have a lot of them, but sometimes I can be stuck trying to make it more creative and not just make it in a way where it's just me speaking to the camera. And I want to do some other things and add some other things to it to be more creative. Like, I want to be able to share more. But ultimately, I really appreciate what making this video does for me. I think this video has gone longer than I actually expected it. So if you're still watching this, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys take care of yourself. Thank you.